Hi everyone. I wanted to carry on from yesterday's chat, which was pretty brief but quite straight to the point, so it didn't need to be too long. But I want to expand on it because two things. If we have an inkling through our lives, which most of us do, watching this do, that a higher love perspective in our actions in life, whether it be toward ourselves, treating ourselves sensibly, caringly, respectfully, like we've got to that foundation, or with others, the same goes, sensible in interaction, that higher love, like offering respect, offering assistance, holding space in some way, in a nice way, in the majority of our interactions, which all interactions aren't perfect because we're going to come across things that we need to learn from and others need to learn with us as well. So it's that relationship experience. But if we have an inkling that choosing the high route feels good for us and for others, then that's exactly what to expand on. Because for two, that's how you help humanity right now. So a lot of us are still caught up in and unaware that this rising consciousness shift is due to our choices, our choosing. So it's a time to realize that and notice in ourselves whether we are acting out. And I want to bring up Carolyn Mace's book right now that I have on Audible, A Time for Grace, because it perfectly and in-depthly describes the 7 passions on a shadow side of life, and how when they are given into and we operate with choices in that way, then we are not doing that higher love perspective of a balanced heart nature, give and receive in the world. We are operating from our shadow passions and telling ourselves stories that keep us there. And that's not helping this humanity shift, because that's what we're shifting out of. That when you have the shadow and light in balance, then which is why she's written A Time for Grace, is because the awareness we can and are working with the light. We are not here on our own, and the only way to survive is to give into our shadows. We are working with heaven. We are one with heaven. It's not under any particular religious banner, but it can be that as well to assist your understanding. But it is really, no matter what it's called, you're working with heaven. So when we realize the light is everyone, we can call on the graces, and I believe Carolyn lists 7 graces, but it's endless. But some of the most important ones, it's really a resignation that we are from heaven, we are working with heaven, and we have heavenly spirit guide teams assisting us at any time. So your angelic guides are doing their best to get your attention, and you can call upon them when you need to face things in your life like trust, courage, all strengths that you may need to call upon, like fortitude, going through tough periods, but help see me through this, help me to notice the light more. I'm going to listen to Caroline's book again because it was amazing and blew me away, just at how in depth she articulates what we're going through and the human nature of us in the light and shadow. And knowing these things, we can keep an eye on them for balance. So that's what I'm carrying on from yesterday's brief talk with the heaven and earth connection that we are. And the more we balance our own darker passions with the light, then we realize we have both in balance, and it is a better life. So yeah, that's pretty much like resonating to more higher assistance in life, rather than giving in, battling with lower negative feelings, emotions, and if you stay there, they end up breeding all different thoughts and more of a mind maze matrix you have to get through in life before you even realize a bit of balance, and you can have it all. Which is the utmost truth, which is why I'm talking about this. And a lot of us know from our journeys that we've been through ups and downs and feel like we've been, pushed to the side and have to find our way back. So we realize more and more as we grow into older versions of light beings that finding our way back has always been through the light. We experience the dark, we choose the light, or angelic earth angels. People say something unexpectedly. People guide you. Your attention is caught by something. It shifts your whole perspective away from focusing on like a lower shadow perspective, thinking that's the only way. So getting your thoughts back into the light for less of a mind maze. So that's pretty much all I wanted to remind us of, that we always have those choices and don't get caught in a mind maze of a lower vibration and act as though that's the only route and there's no way out, because we are here for a light shift and very supported by heaven coming in for that light shift for this planet. So that's how we work with it, noticing our own shadows and what we're giving into. And shadows are essentially, catch yourself in any ego excess version of yourself. Don't just let that slide, because there's more to you when you don't give in to that, because essentially it's negative lowering vibration, so you will just attract more thought from that level if you persist in certain behaviors or interactions. And at any time when things catch you by surprise, just try and trigger to remember that there is higher light solutions that can assist the whole situation. So don't get drawn into operating with ego and the kind of better than kind of attitudes, or I know more, and then the conversation has to kind of stop because of ego. or the understanding where you can't become the student for a little bit and listen as though someone else has something to share with you that could be of benefit. Because sometimes, and a lot of the time, we're walking into the unknown, so we have to not think we know everything, but become the student and listen for a bit, so that our energy field actually gets a feed of what it might need, instead of us thinking we know everything and this is where research is, or this is where study is, and as though that's all there is. People reading up on the latest stuff or anything like that, that's fine. But there is a bigger perspective for the person claiming the latest studies that they could receive in. It's not like how far the world has come now is as high as it's going to go in information receipt, like us receiving in infinite intelligence, and you could go into the history of infinite intelligence, like everything that the universe and even the cosmos has been through is available for our learning, for our growth on the planet at this time. For ourselves, when asking for grace, we can also meditate and stay in that open space of meditation in the high vibration, cleared our thoughts, and ask questions. Work with our guidance team, start to feel into our own energy, connect with our guidance team that knows our energy, and see if any gates open to more information that way. And then you open more in life as well. So we don't need to egoically limit our experiences in some kind of egoic battles of who knows more at the time. Instead, what more could we possibly soak in from each other and get away from the shadow sort of old perspectives that, we're separate and we know more than each other, and then we kind of judge and distance ourselves from each other. Sometimes that will happen because we're not meant to please everyone or be pleased by everyone. But in the higher loving states that are coming in more and more, it's less of our actions being to stop life coming in, and more of a happy to give, receive flow. And then that will loosen up even more over time. So, we're not living these mental construct lives. Where I got the visual yesterday, and I will share more of it at some other time, the visual of looking down at the world as like a snow globe, and you see all these little people stuck in like mind mazes with little battles and frustrations and worries, and it's just like, let's put that to the side. And then in comes this new snow globe, and it's like you don't have to shake it up or anything. It's already lit and alive with little so many sparks of light potential. And that's our new world. We are not operating as dense as we were. And this is the visual and perspective we need to hold. That we do have so much more sparks of potential all the time. So we don't need to limit ourselves or others in battles and fight with a more universal, cosmos, open, light perspective of life. And we all know this inside without vocalizing it, but now we can live it more. So it's not vocalized as like, this is the new world. We're living the new world. And so if anyone has difficulty with holding the vision, then just remember noticing where you're at with what you're giving, in your choices, in your very life interaction. When you wake up and breathe and off you go. Because I'll just finish by saying this. It's in those moments where, okay, there's autopilot going on, you're getting the usual stuff done, but then you slow right down for a bit and you go, out of everything I've done so far this morning, what most makes me feel like me? What am I most happy or content with? And you just hit that presence state where you're asking yourself such a presence question. Well, that presence vertical alignment question is where you can actually bring yourself into in each activity. It does take like a come into center perspective in presence, like even how you prepare something. You're just slowing back down and appreciating your center, appreciating what you can touch, appreciating, this life, what's in front of you at the moment. And then this space opens up with your presence. Well, that's that aliveness we can all be in, and there is way more potential. So yeah. I do remember some of the first times I did that. I mean, off and on through life, as you kind of would have experienced yourself, we autopilot through what we're taught, our environments, what we're shown, how we're meant to live, what we're meant to do. And then you have moments or spaces that open up where you say, I'm not sure that's for me. Or you're even an outspoken kind of light being and you're like, yeah, I'm not doing it that way. I know I want to do it this way. Which is what reminds me I'm experiencing from the youth with my daughter as well. Because she's been doing it for a long time. And it's not in a rebellious way, but it seems rebellious. But it's more, I know what I'm doing. Like, you can show me the bare minimum of how I've got to do something, but I'm aware of how I like to do it. And you can see the pleasantness in that. Just let them have their space in their presence. And if they're going off track a bit, where you can see that you are of guidance, then you can step in and help. But other than that, let them steer and change gears and be present with themselves and just highlight. But it's mainly to do with, you know yourself more when you get present with what you're doing and not following through on the mind mazes we have had to live in, where we're just trying to please particular ways or systems, where we actually become present with what we're doing and asking ourselves with this higher potential, is there other ways of doing this? And you're not looking outside of yourself for the answer. you're in that present state. And sometimes it takes some practice at home as well as out in the moments of whatever you're doing, to make sure you ground that, because it's an amazing state to realize there is more potential in the moment when you've got your spirit fully present and it's not worried about something yesterday or last week, where your energy is sent off in a mind maze and then your body is still dealing with it. You're not quite present to your full potential then. And that's the new world experience, when we're all coming home to ourselves more often. And you can see then, or you could start to feel, as I'm feeling, that connections with others are way different, because you're like an appreciative heart cycle space, which is the natural cycle of the heart channel, is the give, and it's coming back. It's like operating at a higher state. It is coming back round to your heart, like to your being. And so if that space is expanding through holding our own presence and higher potential, then we're assisting others to do that without hard work. Really, that's the way it works in the energy field. And then you draw to you people who, you know, you may help them with. And it's not hard work, it's presence energy field. Which is interesting, because I am doing the presence course at the moment with Eckhart Tolle and Kim Ang, and reminds me, I have to go and watch some more of them, because they are expansive and grounding on what I've been learning, probably a lot of us have been learning. And it's great to catch up with the other students as well and discuss this, because this is exactly where we're at, how to remember to come home to ourselves, to, you know, bring our spirits home rather than just have our heads operating. Awesome. Okay. Highest love, everybody. Do what you can. Bye for now.